You can't interrogate this question further.
Chair, just one clarification. Chair, Mr. Bajenda says that last time the governor did say the issue of solution of banks was solely the matter of the supervision department. Now, then how, if it is solely, how do you dare trust people outside the Bank of Uganda more than your own? Because now you are engaging external lawyers, yet you have the lawyers, the home domestic lawyers of the bank. How do you dare trust those outside and not your own?
Additional, Mr. Chairman, I am sure, Mr. Chairman, that Bank of Uganda, under the Human Resource Development Program, after engaging the personnel, they sponsor them for trainings to acquire particular skills. And I'm almost certain that even the lawyers who are there, if they have done masters and other upgrade programs, they have done them on government of Uganda money. Why would you then go outside that and leave the people you have trained for a long time with funds of government of Uganda?
Mr. Chairman, just to add on that, would Madam Bajenda let us know why you did not engage your own legal department from the beginning until as she submitted when you are making the last payment? Why didn't you involve your legal department?
Thank you, Chair. May I request legal counsel to answer? We worked as a team. Chair, as you know very well, and we have submitted here, we didn't have minutes, so it is a word of one against the other, but I think legal counsel has an answer for that.
In a retrospect, do you think it would have been wise for you to have the records? Don't you think so? As you...
At that point in time, that was the best decision we took, to keep matters very confidential to the extent, Mr. Chairman protected me.
You don't have to repeat that, really.
To the extent that we minimize leakage.
Let me tell you, you don't have to repeat that. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't. Colleagues?
Mr. Chairman,
I think we need
finally on the legal counsel, just a direct question. Legal counsel, do you think your powers were usurped by the supervision team? Do you think your powers were usurped?
I think the question is, don't you think you should have been involved right from the beginning of these transactions? We are closing this. I think after that, don't you think we want to close this? Don't you think you should have right from the beginning gotten involved in negotiating the engagement terms, in negotiating the fees payable, and so on? Don't you think you should have been involved as a department right from the beginning?
Mr. Chairman, the former EDS has just pointed out that matters of resolution were under her. Now, I want to clarify. Now, when you are the legal counsel for the bank, you are like a law firm. These are your clients. They come to you and seek legal advice. Now, they can come, they may not come.
I wish the governor and deputy was here. We would have addressed some of these issues directed to them.
But Mr. Chairman, really, a department is not like a legal firm. You have a mandate. You have mandate of what you do in the bank. You can't say you are waiting for instructions. You can't say you have no mandate in the bank. Then we come to you. So why are you in the bank? Are you just there waiting?
Now, maybe, Chair, the very last one. I would ask the legal counsel, who is mandated in the bank to source for an external lawyer?
Madam,
Not a practice, don't tell me the practice.
Mr. Chairman, the user department for legal services is legal department.
So it is legal department that is mandated.
It is legal department, but I want to clarify.
No, I just want to know who is mandated. Just that.
The user department is the legal department. Now, with regard to why do you just sit around and wait for people to come to you? These are our clients, and that's how it is, Mr. Chairman. You would understand it. Legal department does not move around department saying, do you have legal work? Do you have legal consultant? They come to you and tell you, we have a legal issue here. We need legal advice. Or we have an issue that could raise legal issues. Please give us legal advice. And I want that to be clear. So did the Madam Bajenda come to your
It is actually not clear the way you think.
Were you consulted in this case? Yes or no? Mr. Chairman, I did not draft letters of engagement.
The question is, were you consulted when they brought Max? Madam Kasule. Were you consulted as the user department?
I think, colleagues, the answer is no. And now the rest falls back to us to make a judgment. No, she said no.
Not had an answer. My take is that the answer is yes, but she never drafted the yes. It is here and on oath. The question has put across to her. She has everything it takes to answer. It only needs either yes or no. Were you consulted in drafting this, in all of these legal issues?
The legal department did not participate in the drafting of letters of engagement.
That is not the question. Me, I'm a teacher. The question is very clear. Were you consulted? There is participation and consultancy. We know really what we mean. So just answer either a yes or no, very short, just 3 or 2 words. Were you consulted?
Just answer. We need to make some progress.
Mr. Chairman, I phoned these people at a meeting.
Just answer. It's a very simple question, really. Just answer, please, and we proceed. You're on oath. I have to remind all of you people who took oath. Just answer that question and we move on.
No. Mr. Chair.
Colleagues.
One simple question.
You have not said anything. I will only allow you because you have not said anything.
Thank you so much, Chair. I
am about to direct that Honorable Kasiva.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. May I know from the legal counsel? May I know from the legal counsel of the Bank of Uganda whether in her terms of reference or in her duties, was she aware that she was supposed to review all the documents that were supposed to be signed by the senior management?
Mr. Chairman, I do not review all the documents or terms of reference that are signed by the senior management. They only bring terms of reference for me to review if they think there could be a legal issue. I have clarified on that one. The only terms of reference that I review are those for the procurement of legal services. Because I am the legal department is the user.
Mr. Chairman, may I request that if the law allows, we have the laws of the legal counsel in the Bank of Uganda according to the administrative Bank of Uganda money. If the law allows, so that we know where she was supposed to act and where she was not supposed to participate.
It can be put differently, but it's the same question. I get up your administrative manual, Mr. Trinemanzi, and we shall look at the mandate of each and every department. Then we resolve this. Colleagues, one issue that has remained pending before we go to Kirkland and seal is about the documentation. You remember at the beginning of this process, we had an issue about security of the documents within the bank. Later on, it was discovered that some cases, suitcases, left the bank and they did not go through the proper scrutiny and screening by the bank staff, by the security bank staff. We did review the CCTV. I think we got a small committee, and it was ascertained that the staff of Mrs. Vagenda carried, were they three? General Tucker is here? Sorry?
There were three people. The security guards were two, and then the security guard of Mrs. Vagenda.
Mrs. Vagenda,
and the driver.
Yes, you may be aware about that incident. We would like now to know what exactly you carried from the bank and what you carried back to the bank. What was in those suitcases?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and again I request you to be fair to me. The incident...
But I am not comfortable with this repeatedness of fairness. It's as if we are here to hunt for you. And that's not true. We are trying to be as fair as possible to everybody. The only problem is that most of these things you did it.
Chair, you recall when that report allegation was made, I was not here. May I know what type of allegation is made against me? And secondly, Mr. Chair, the incident you're talking about, which I am yet to understand, but which I know happened when I was still in the bank. I had bosses. I had the governor, I had the deputy governor. In that issue, if it happened the way you are telling me, it was an administrative matter. May I therefore request that we request the governor, the deputy governor, the executive director administration, the director security, the director HR, the consultant for security, and the personal assistant to governor to be here in this meeting. Thank you.
Why?
Chair, as I stated, I was still in the bank and I had bosses. I don't know what was brought here.
Maybe you need to get this clear. We run this meeting our own way. We don't run it the way you want it to be run. Can you just now answer the question, please?
May I have the benefit of the question?
So why have you been explaining if you didn't understand the question?
Mr. Chairman, I have not
Yeah, it seems you
anything.
came here with a preconceived answer. You don't know the questions. So you have been, oh, I want this one, when you have not understood the question.
No,
Why did you carry things outside, up from the bank, without going through security? In any case, what were you carrying? And then we shall go to what the bank rules and regulations provide.
Okay, thank you, Chair. May I request to look at the CTV? Because you said you reviewed it, I have not reviewed it. May I kindly request...
Is it true that cases were carried out and a box containing documents, because those can be seen from your office, and they did not go through security? Is it true?
Bags were carried out.
And the box?
And the box.
With files?
Not files. I don't remember files.
No, the box was open actually. And
That's
you could
why I
even
want to
see, we can even see even the colors of the what?
Okay.
Of the files.
Let me watch the CCTV, Chair. Because
So what was contained in those bags? We are going to look at the CCTV.
The bags had my personal documents. I had MBA books. I studied MBA by correspondence from Herod University. I had plates. There were many in my office. I had pictures. They were in my office. I had materials which I got from all the conferences. Those materials, Chair, I used to be a consultant in some of the IMF, World Bank, and those were my reference materials. There were also files for the Financial Intelligence Authority, where I was a board member. There were also files for a microfinance support center, where I was a board member for 6 years and the chairperson. Those are the ones I could remember. Thank you, Chair.
Did you seek authority from the relevant department of carrying out those things from the bank?
Mr. Chairman, the practice in the bank.
We don't want to hear about practices. Just answer the question. Did you seek authority from the relevant security department or administration department that actually I'm carrying these and these are my personal documents and files? Did you seek an authority?
Mr. Chairman, I want to look at...
Did you seek
Mr.
an
Chairman,
authority?
Be fair again.
I'm fair, and please be fair and answer the question. Did you seek an authority from the security department or from the administration department that actually I'm carrying these are my personal files?
Mr. Chairman, I plead.
Did you seek authority? Please,
Mr. Chairman, let me
don't
explain.
plead.
Why don't you give me a chance to explain?
I am giving you a chance after you have answered the question.
That's why I'm saying the practice, and I need to read the information security manual, whether it requests, if there is any, whether it requests any authority, because the practice was that you are checked at the outside.
Were you checked?
Mr. Chairman, that's why I was in the office when those bags were carried. So I need to look at the CCTV, Mr. Chairman.
Were you checked? You've known this issue since you came. You know very well that even you had referred your staff for further criminal investigation. Were you checked?
Chairman, I was in the office when the bags went. That's why I want to look at the CCTV to ascertain whether those people carry the bags.
We have looked at it and they were not checked.
But I need to look at it, Chair.
Mr. Chairman, clarification from Mrs. Vagenda. You have admitted bags were carried. Then you were saying you want to see the footages for you to ascertain whether they were carried. You don't know how they were carried, or you want to see yourself where you were seated, or who actually carried them. What do you exactly want to see from the footages that you cannot still have in your memory?
Thank you, Chair. I am on oath. I was seated in my office when those bags went through security. I cannot say whether they were checked or not checked until I see the CCTV, which you have seen. I beg.
We shall give you the CCTV. There is no doubt about that. We are going to give it to you and review. But first answer this question as they are put.
Mr. Chairman, can I find out from Madam Bajenda why, first of all, do documents, or is there any moment in the Bank of Uganda, which is a central bank of Uganda, that anything can bypass the security checkpoint as an EDS? Is there a provision that anything can go in or out of the Central Bank of Uganda without being checked at the security point?
No.
2, what would be allowed to go through the emergency exit door?
That question could be, with your permission, be answered by Director Security.
Were you checked yourself?
Chairman.
Were you checked yourself?
When I was getting out of the office?
Yes.
I passed through the scanner, if I remember correctly.
Mr. Chairman, I'm still...
I want to remember correctly. That's why I would like...
Are there instances when you would not pass through the scanner?
They were there.
They were there? So you would bypass the scanner?
No, I need to see the CCTV on that date.
Please. Were there instances when you would bypass the scanner?
Sometimes when, if I remember correctly, when the security, the emergency doors were not working, or not the emergency doors, that they call them the scanners, or what do they call them? That's why I need the data security. No, the data security has a name for them. They would open emergency doors for...
No, they would open, that's correct, but I'm sure I'm asking a question where you come and you just walk past the scanner.
Mr. Chairman, I need to look at the CCTV for that day. Chair.
Procedure, Chairman.
No, let's
Procedure, Chairman.
Honorable Anyo conclude.
Procedure, Chairman.
Let's Honorable Anyo conclude, please. Oh, let's not use procedure. Try jack a microphone for my colleague.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Madam Bajenda was one of the top executives of the bank. At that point, when you are still the EDS, would you find it strange that an officer of the bank...
Order, Mr. Chairman. Mrs. Bajenda is on WhatsApp, yet a serious question is being asked. Can it be on the order?
I was switching it off. The phone was on. Sorry.
Well, I did see, so I can't rule otherwise. But if she was on WhatsApp, Madam Bajenda, that is being impolite.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm putting it to Madam Bajenda. At that time when you are the EDS of the bank, would you find it strange that an officer of the bank would bypass the security checkpoint?
Mr. Chairman, I don't remember.
Would you find it strange if it happened?
Why wouldn't he or she pass through? I would wonder why she wouldn't.
That question we are going to ask you, especially when we have not, you had bypassed it.
Yeah, that's why I need to see the CCTV and I will explain.
Yeah, we wanted it on record that it is strange that an officer can bypass the security checkpoint.
Mr. Chairman, as I have explained, there are instances when those doors were not working. There were instances.
Okay, because you see, we are not talking about this generally, Mrs. Vajenda. We are talking about a particular incident. Is it also true, therefore, that eventually this issue raised the concern to the security, and there was an attempted search warrant of your residence and you complained to the security officers?
Chair, I have emails to that, personal emails to the Director Security.
Yes. Is it also true that thereafter you were again seen, this time coming in with bags?
Chair, allow me to read this personal email to Director Security, where I stated that effective, let me read it, Chair, give me time. I'll look for it, but generally, if I recall correctly, I informed the Director Security that I will be coming in to take my personal documents. And indeed, I came in with the bags, but the Director Security told me that there was no senior officer. Remember, it was a Saturday or Sunday, if I recall correctly. There was no senior officer at that point in time, that I wait on a Monday. And indeed, on a Monday, I waited, and I was checked by a security officer, James Ochen, and Musoke.
So this time, you found it necessary to inform the Director Security? Whereas just a few minutes ago, you say you don't even remember whether it is a requirement.
Thank you, Chair. For goodness sake, the consultant came and told me, even there is an email to that effect.
That's what?
The consultant came and we had a discussion, and there was an email. There was also an email from the Director Security.
Chair, could these copies of emails be availed to you, Chair? It may not be to all of us, such that you are able to follow, because now I was trying to read some, say, no, I can't get them, but let me recollect what.
Well, if he reads an email, then we shall have a look at it.
Yeah, because we...
Thank you, Chair. The Director Security writes to me, and what he's reminding me...
Can you give us the dates?
16th March. He's reminding me that all persons, March 2018. He's reminding, he said, all persons is quoting administrative manual. Okay. All persons, employees, visitors, clients shall go through security screening without exception before accessing the bank. All items brought into the bank shall be screened without exception. All persons leaving the bank premises shall be subject to a search by the security personnel without exception at all points of exit. Chapter 2, subsection 2, breach of any of the regulations of the bank shall render an employee liable for disciplinary action. I submit.
Did you breach any of those rules?
I was never.
Did you breach any of those?
Mr. Chairman, this email.
Did you breach
Mr.
any of those?
Please, Mr. Chairman, allow me.
Did you breach any of those?
To my recollection, no.
Oh, you sure, Mrs.
Because
Budget?
the way I wanted to, let me explain. He says, shall go through, the rule says, shall go through security screening without exception. I don't recall whether I defined going through security. That's why I want to look at the CCTV.
Mr. Chairman, there is a reason why the Director Security was prompted.
Procedure. Chair, I think it would be fair for us to interrogate Mrs. Bajenda on this thing when the Director of Security is also here. It would really get the best out of the interaction, because it's like He submitted when she was not there, and we told him to come back when Mrs. Bajenda is here, and we will handle it when they are all here. Now, she's saying she did not breach any of what she's reading, but it would be the other officer to tell us that there was a breach in this and this kind of thing.
If there was there.
If it was there.
Further procedure, Mr. Chairman. With your permission, Mr. Chairman and colleagues, I think it's a very serious issue that we are interrogating. That issue is very, very serious. First, the accusation has to be put to Mrs. Bajenda, and as she says, she looks at those CCTV which form the evidence, and would you guide whether it is not procedurally correct that we appoint a specific date, time and place, and also agree on how we're going to proceed, because it's a very serious accusation onto her person. Yes, Honorable Kasuran? Then I rule on that. Or if
It is better that I wait for the ruling, otherwise.
Okay.
Chair, maybe just...
Mr. Chairman.
Don't ask any more substantive questions.
Not a question, Chairman. It's not a question. Chair, I just only want to say, I think, personally, I would agree with that, because given the way
tumira omusomesa ali ngene suuti ekuluma oyagala gye makingira mu bibuuzo
ekiri wano kikutte okuba bwali bayambe kasumba n'atuuka mu aligeera netekumulesha n'apima poloti you have dealt with my money. Something bigger than a cricket has entered its hall.
With Alex Muhanji, the only time in Muchiga. Do not miss his Chibera Chakabi Paitao Mama.
Akapande ako bakateekawo nga kasoma speed meter 5 buli ssaawa, bakateekawo olw'ensonga nti olina okutambulira mu sipiidi eyo. Singa osussa sipiidi eyo kitegeeza nti oyinza okukola akabenje mu maaso. N'olwekyo mu maaso nze nange bw'olaba nvugira ku sipiidi ntono nnyo emakinga n'akapande kensanze mu kifo kino. Bakateekawo olw'ensonga nti mu maaso wayinza okubaayo essomero, oyinza okuba osemberera roundabout, oyinza okuba osemberera ekifo ekirimu akatale oba ekifo eky'olukale. N'olwekyo badriver bannange mbakubiriza okusomanga obupande obuli ku kkubo musobole okwewala obubenje. Nze Segawa Nathaniel Rogers, professional driver, Vivo Energy, tweddeko okwatibwako.
This message was brought to you by Vivo Energy and NTV Uganda.
what's up? It's the illest show that rocks your weekend, that kickstarts your weekend. We come through with 1,000 gigahertz of energy.
As they bring you some mad DJ skills and crazy video mixes.
It's the illest TV show. This is Exposed. We come through every single Saturday, 1:30 to 3 p.m.
Remember to call in with your music requests
right here on NTV. So make sure you catch us 1:30 to 3 p.m. Exposed, live in your face. We are the show on the business. Exposed.
Drink.
We have watched this show begin. We have traveled the entire country in search for commercial farmers.
Cassava is now a cash crop in Teso.
Farmers from across Uganda have benefited from agriculture.
Somebody who is doing fish farming, this is an opportunity, a huge opportunity, in that the market and the demand is already available.
I realized there was potential in goat farming. I started with around 30 goats.
You don't need a lot of money to start, but rather the heart and determination.
Intending farmers is to have a positive attitude and start.
It doesn't need the person to have gone to school or to have not gone to school. Possibly keeping is one of the projects that have money.
You go home, you come back to harvested honey.
And who said there is no market?
Like that fish pond, where it is, I've stocked now 700 fish.
What I've seen in agriculture is that the market for produce is there.
All you need is you to make a difference.
Everywhere you go, people do just about the same things, but we thought if we could just put some spunk into agriculture.
Farming comes in many packages. It takes courage, determination, focus, and above all, the zeal.
I have a passion for animals.
Stop feeling pity for yourself. Don't blame it on anyone. Stand up and do something. Farming is fun. Join us on this program and let's make the world we live in a better place.
You, the viewer outside there, don't you see it is just lively?
On Seeds of Gold every Saturday only on NTV.
What would you define fashion as? It's not something you simply wear, nor is it anything you envision it to be.
Honestly, I feel like when I look at the bottom of this outfit, the skirt, it reminds me of the office trash can.
It's body perfection. It's the art that defines who you are.
These kind of wedding gowns tell so much about someone's personality. I would wear something like this, to be honest.
You?
Yeah,
sure.
but literally with like a crop top inside.
When it comes to the red carpet, step back because we are here. You design it. You wear it. We critique it.
So how long did this take for you to put together?
This I bought from the States. It's $1.
How do I look?
Yeah, you look fantastic, babe. You look fantastic.
Tell me, what inspired your dress?
This, I think, was her wearing her own label.
I think she should have stayed home.
From your mind and body glam to your step out look, we define fashion as a lifestyle.
Thank you so much. What you guys are doing at Style Parties is absolutely mwah. Say hi to Sheila and to my beautiful Bettina. Man, those girls are killing it.
We are the NTV Style Project.
Zanya era wangule nga buli siringi 10 z'oteekayo ng'omusingo zikuwa omukisa gumu ogw'okuyingira super jackpot eya Sunday eno ku MTN. Nyiga star 165 star 33 hash. Eno ye star 165 star 33 hash. Teekamu ennamba zo 3 zinamukisa. Oluvannyuma teekamu siringi 10 ali ku Airtel. Nyiga star 185 star 33 hash. Eno ye star 185 star 33 hash. Teekamu ennamba zo 3 zinamukisa. Oluvannyuma teekamu siringi 10 era ofune super feeling olwaleero.
the contract amount. Number two, I am uncertain whether KPMG did this assignment at no cost. The section he's quoting, 62.5, says that the cost of appointing the external auditor shall be borne by the financial institution. In the outline of the costs incurred during that moment, the 12 billion does not include this particular assignment of KPMG. The third one, Mr. Chairman, is that by the date of this appointment, when the bank was already under statutory management, and the statutory manager's powers are provided for under Section 89, subsection 9 of the Financial Institutions Act. He was actually the one supposed to have appointed, because he had taken over powers of the directors of the bank under statutory management. It should have been Mr. Katimbo Mugwanya to appoint the external auditors. I want to know from Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman, one, if he found it logical to appoint these external auditors in reference to Section 62.5 of the Financial Institutions Act, when the bank was already under statutory management. Number two, I also want him to tell us the cost of this exercise and where it is accounted for, because it does not fall under the liquidation or intervention costs. Number three, Mr. Chairman, I want to know from Mr. Katimbo Mugwanya why he did not exercise his mandate as the statutory manager at that time to have been the one to appoint these auditors if there was a need. And the last one, Mr. Chairman, is that we were not provided with a copy of this report because 3 weeks after the appointment, the bank was sold. And the DFC that took over the bank certainly had its own appointed external auditors.
So you ask so many questions. Let's start with who? Mr. Katimbo Mugwanya. Mr. Katimbo Mugwanya, were you under the law mandated? Were you the one who was mandated to appoint these auditors as one of your roles as a statutory manager?
Yes, I was, but in conjunction with the governor and Bank of Uganda management.
Did you appoint this one?
Yes, I have an engagement letter here signed by me.
Let me look at it. Was this in pursuant to the appointment that had been already done by Mr. Sekavira on the 15th of December?
As I said, I did it in conjunction with Bank of Uganda. They nominated the...
They did to nominate, they appointed, and thereafter you did this, yes?
that is probably the sequence of events.
Chair.
Yes, let's. Is that a nomination? That's an appointment.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I got a copy of this.
Is it an appointment or is it a nomination?
It is an appointment.
Okay.
Chair, if we could refer to the section that Honorable Michael said, 89(9). It says a statutory manager appointed under paragraph 9 of subsection 2 of this section shall have the functions of the member of the board of directors, collectively and individually, including the board's power of delegation and use of the seal until such a time a central bank shall appoint an advisory board. And he's saying he did it in what? In conjunction with the central bank. Does the law say that you do it in conjunction with the central bank?
That doesn't even arise because the document we have don't show what Mr. Katipo Mugwane is saying.
Mr. Chairman, I did concur with the appointment through the letter that I've given
But
to you.
these are just signing out the terms. The appointment had already been made on the 15th of December. And the appointment is just even copied to you. It is addressed to the Managing Director, KPMG.
And if you know, we did discuss it before that letter went out.
I don't know anything.
No, you wouldn't know. But we did discuss it before that appointment went out. And I was liaising with the auditors myself.
Did the Bank of Uganda have authority to appoint auditors when they had already appointed the statutory manager?
No, the Bank of
under
Uganda,
the FIA.
They didn't have authority.
Okay. I think that's better. Yes, proceed. Honorable Tusime.
Mr. Chairman, that being the case, that we will concede of this wrongful appointment, I need to know the cost and where the cost is posted, because under the cost to be recovered from Crane Bank Limited in liquidation, the report that was provided by the chief accountant of Bank of Uganda does not indicate. Mr. Katimamuganya, let me give you reference to page 59 of the Auditor General's report. I want to know where this cost is.
Mr. Chairman, I did not originate that schedule, so I wouldn't know how they amalgamated to get this detail. All I can tell you is that the letter of representation I signed provided for audit fees of 98 million, which is quite standard for a bank of the size of Crane Bank.
My issue is not the amount. My issue is where do we place the amount in accounting for the costs that are to be incurred by Crane Bank Limited in liquidation?
I think that should be asked to the EDF, because as far as I know, we appointed them and Crane Bank was supposed to bear the liquidation cost.
But let me tell you why we are asking this. You see, once you appoint a statutory manager, you allow the statutory manager to perform his functions under the FIA. Bank of Uganda cannot now continue to intermeddle within the management of a bank which has already been placed under statutory manager to perform the functions of a statutory manager. That's why we are interrogating this issue. Once there is a statutory manager, the mandate is clearly defined under the FIA. So if you do that and then Bank of Uganda is busy actually doing the work of the statutory manager, that would offend, first of all, the real reason why you appointed a statutory manager, but also more importantly, the FIA. Honorable Tusime, then we close this.
Mr. Chairman, there seems also to be a concession that these costs can't be traced in the column of those provided for us as liquidation costs. The last one, Mr. Chairman, would be my interest is in having a copy of the report of this exercise.
There's a bit of a complication on the audit report. Since this committee started, I have been following up with the partner in KPMG because, you know, my terms were terminated before the audit could be finished. So I have been following up with the Mr. Stephen Enegate, who is the who is the partner in charge of the audit. And I think there was one issue that was still holding the audit report. This issue being the fact that the figure that appeared for amounts owing from associates in the in the inventory was slightly different from the amount that they audited, and the difference was because the inventory was in October and the audit was as at December. And short of that, I don't know why the audit certificate was never issued. I did raise the matter with the Deputy Governor. We have followed up with the EDS to try, because we've been asking me for accountability. I've been following up with KPMG to say what is holding up the audit, and up to now, I really don't know.
Did you write to them as a follow-up?
I had left office, so I had no capacity in which I could write to them.
So how were you following it up?
I was phoning them informally and pressing from outside, as a normal person would do, using their own, judgment and skills. I could not write as statutory manager because I was not. I could not write as Katimbo Mugwanya because Katimbo Mugwanya was not the statutory manager.
You said you were terminated before.
Before the audit was completed.
And we asked for your termination letter. Can you avail it to us?
Yes, these documents will be availed through Bank of Uganda. They are there because I was written to by Bank of Uganda.
Mr. Katimbo, was KPMG paid?
Mr. Chairman, because they finalized the audit before, after I had been terminated, I would not know whether they were paid or not. Bank of Uganda would know, or DFCU would know, because that's a liability that would be outstanding at as at the time of takeover.
EDS, or this was KPMG paid?
Mr. Chairman, I wouldn't know at this point, but I would like to cross-check with the Executive Director of Finance, because there must be a record. If an invoice was written and there's a contract that was signed, it must have been paid.
But they are paid without a report, that certificate and report.
Mr. Chairman, if you look at the letter that Mr. Katimbo submitted, there were staggered payments, I think 40%, 50, 40, and then 10, I think. So there must have been at least some initial payment. But that I can confirm with the finance department.
But the final payment?
That one I do not know how finance, Mr. Chairman. But I can again find out for you and let you know first thing tomorrow morning.
Yes, Mr. Katimbo Mugwanya.
It is good with the recollection from EDS. There were staggered payments. So the initial, I think you have to pay an initial payment. That must have been paid by Crane Bank, by the Director of Finance in Crane Bank.
Actually, it is you who paid.
Yes, I would have paid on my behalf, yes.
Not on your behalf?
Yes.
You paid as the statutory manager?
But I didn't sign, but he would have.
You authorized?
Yes, I did authorize.
Yeah, that's the payment we are talking about. Honorable Tosim, and we close this.
Mr. Chairman, the 4 issues are exhausted on concession from Bank of Uganda. The pending one is confirming that the amounts of money that have been paid, in particular for this exercise, and the end user of this report, which report hasn't come out anyway, 2 years ago.
Colleagues, that seems to end the substantive issues within the Bank of Uganda Auditor General's report. Yes?
Chair, sorry, the committee is discussing a document I have not been able to see. And it is allegedly signed by me. I have not even been asked to make any comment about it.
Can we have the document to Mr. Sekavira, please?
Thank you, Chair. I have only two comments. One is that indeed I signed this letter following a process internally in the Bank of Uganda. The second comment I have to make is that the statutory manager did not have a board of directors to which he was reporting, and the appointment of boards of auditors is done by the boards of directors, not the managers. So, as you look at this matter,
Did you have authority to sign? And if so,
this following the process,
did you have the authority to sign that appointment? And what was the source of your authority under the law?
Chair, that's why I said following an internal process within the bank.
Just answer the question, Mr. Sekavira. Did you have authority to sign that appointment? And if so, under what was the source of that authority?
Chair, if I'm given time to look at the records in the Bank of Uganda, I will find some recommendation to the governor which spells out the issues, and the approval will be there.
Okay, as of now, do you have the authority to sign?
Yes, I would have.
Under what law?
That's the process, the internal process within the Bank of Uganda.
The law is the internal process.
Chair, I said that Mr.
If I were you, you would say, I've looked at this document, let me remind myself, and then tomorrow I'll explain. Other than trying to gamble with an answer.
Good to have you on the program. I am Joel Kamadi. Now, in the next half hour, we'll bring you up to speed on all you need to know about both local and international sport. Coming up on Wednesday's edition of Sport Today, we revisit action in the Uganda Premier League as well as the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg between Tottenham and Chelsea. So do stay with us if you can. So let's get started now. KCCA FC will be top of the StarTimes Uganda Premier League log at the end of the first round after beating URA FC 1-0. Now, Timothy Awanya's 56th minute strike proved to be the difference in a keenly contested match at Mandela National Stadium. Now, the result means Vipers SC are the only unbeaten side in the top flight league. The Venoms used goals from Geoffrey Waswa, Dan Muzei Serunkuma and Livingstone Mulondo to beat Onduparaka 3-0 at St. Mary's Stadium and consolidate second position. Let's take a look at the best bits from that match.
That's a mistake by the defender. Okocha, one of the moments when he came for front, and that's what you get from him. Scouts, they talk of men they sent to go and spy. And that was a curious ball. Cheeky, careless, but in the end, it ended up behind the goalkeeper for goal number 1 for the champions, Geoffrey Waswa. What is a wing back? Just a solid man, but what a goal! This boy has talent. He has a touch. Any day, any time. This sort of goal does not just win football matches. It wins champions. To replicate that, they might not win the height, but they can definitely score more. And this time, it is Mulondo, the defender. Beautiful header. A Russia.
The game is played in 2 halves. The first half, I think I had an upper hand. So when it came to the second half, I lost some concentration. That's why I conceded some early goals.
It's an excitement moment for us as Vipers that at least we have managed to get 3 points. Because as previously we have gone 3 matches with not even scoring a goal, but the players really proved themselves.
Right, let's stay with the Uganda Premier League for a moment because 10-man SC Villa let a 2-goal lead slip against Police at the StarTimes Stadium in Lugogo after Charles Luangara turned from hero to villain with a goal and sending off. Bashir Mutanda looked to have put the Jogos on course for victory with a 46th minute penalty. Juma Balinya, however, scored a brace to rescue a point for Abdallah Mobiru's side.
We're devastated on several fronts. We're devastated. I normally don't want to talk about refereeing, but I thought there's some decisions that were wrong. In my opinion, they were wrong. But on the refereeing side, I thought there were some calls that were not really good. But
much as there's some convincing performance, but the results are very disappointing because I don't think they were good enough to earn a point from us. I'm not underrating them. I respect them. They're a big club, but
moving on to rugby now, Uganda will have a chance to make its bow at the Women's 7th Series qualifier. The qualifying event will take place in Hong Kong in April. A dozen nations will take part in those qualifiers, whose winner will progress to join the 2020 series as a core team. Now, the Lady Cranes will be expected in Hong Kong by March 31st. The women's qualifier has been held every year since 2014, except 2016, when World Rugby used the Olympics in Rio to select the teams that figured in the 2017 series. Uganda will be joined by neighbors Kenya, hosts Hong Kong, Japan, Argentina, Brazil, Poland, Scotland, Belgium, Mexico, and Kazakhstan at this year's qualifier. Now, the Singleton Golf Challenge tournament is back in its 3rd season this weekend following a successful 2018 edition, which ended with the first ever ladies pair of Sheila Kensime and Peace Kabasweka winning the ultimate prize. Now, the 3rd edition will tee off on January 12th at Entebbe Club. Action tees off with a qualifying round and will run for 7 consecutive months, played on a 4-ball, better ball format with a lower net score winning the hole.
In the past, we have taken, part in awarding different prizes. Our focus this time is going to be giving out some of the products and services that we offer as a company. And this includes a variety of things that have to do with mainly safety and security of individuals, homes, and even big facilities.
Last year we invested about 350 million. This year we've almost doubled. We're at 660 million. Singleton together with all the other sponsors, and that's more of cash without the PR and all those things. So we're at 660 million shillings. That's number one. Number two, we have a bank on board. That's CBA, and it gave us a cash contribution of about 50 million shillings. So that's really big for us. And then we have the tickets. Rwanda Air has given us tickets. Business class return tickets. They are 12 tickets from 2, so they've more than, I don't know, what's that, 1,000 times? Yeah, it's 12 tickets to 6 destinations, to London, Cape Town, Dubai, and then around East Africa. Last year we only had one to Dubai for the winning match play pair. So this year we have 12 tickets. Then the other big thing also is we are changing from the DP World Tour Championship to the Desert Classic because it has more PGA players. So that's what we are going to give the winning pair.
Let's take a break. Sport Today continues in a bit. Do stay with us.
My name's Paul Kaganzi and I work with Duke's Garage. Brakes should be looked after because they wear out due to use and over time will actually fail if we don't maintain them. Maintenance of brakes requires regular inspection and replacement of worn out components such as brake pads, brake calipers, brake discs, as well as the hydraulic system, which has brake lines. There are telltale signs that you can observe to know that your braking system, your car braking system is faulty. One of them is a collapsing brake pedal. Another telltale sign is when you brake the car and the braking distance is prolonged. Ordinarily, the braking distance should be short, should be about 3 seconds or less, 2 to 3 seconds. So, in that case, you need to have it checked out at the garage. Bw'owuliranga ebiziyiza byo, osambirira nga bigwayo, obanga brakes zirabika zikaaba, zina kerere gye zikola, oba emmotoka tesibira mbagirawo, leeta emmotoka ku garage bagikebere. Tweddeko, every life matters.
This message was brought to you by Viva Energy and NTV Uganda.
On the next episode is brought to you by
Kiri Soda.
Let's celebrate life.
Happy New Year! We are in the New Year!
God has been good to me. Everything is perfect.
They have girls, they have lots of money, they're very glamorous. Dubai is amazing. So I thought, why not bring Dubai to Uganda?
Soda in 4 different flavors: lemon, mixed berry, orange, and Kiri Cola. Celebrate life with Kiri Soda.
Let's celebrate life.
Welcome back. Klay Thompson scored 43 points with 7 3-pointers. Steph Curry had his first double-double of the season with 14 points and a season-best 14 assists. And the Golden State Warriors snapped a rare 3-game home losing streak in the NBA by beating the cold-shooting New York Knicks 122-95 this morning.
Play. There it is. Draymond rebound in motion. Speed dribbling to a cutting Klay Thompson. Again, an open look. And Klay Thompson now.
This year here.
6'9", 215 at 19 years old.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to play yet.
And Klay Thompson.
I would say Knox opened up the doors to Fort Knox.
Okay. Klay Thompson. 19-5 Warrior run. And their biggest lead is right now.
Have a left, and they use a left unnecessarily.
The run is 23-5, make it 25-5. What's galling for the Warriors is just these wide open threes. And Klay rings the register there. Her travel is like Cy Young having 511 wins. I don't even know what happened. Klay Thompson hitting the three. How hot is Klay? Here's another one. He gets unconscious. Another miss by Burke. Fine play one more time. Why not? And Curry will misfire. Kept it alive. Play in the corner. We've seen it before.
You knew it was him.
He is unbelievable sometimes.
Are they going to give Curry an assist there?
Steph had 14 assists. Draymond had 10. KD had 9 in the last game. How selfless is this team?
Well, that's what makes us special. That's what makes us champions. And if we want to keep on this quest for the three-peat, it's all about sharing the ball. That's when basketball is beautiful. That's when we look our best. And, tonight was a testament to that.
Right, now let's stay with NBA for a reason, because the Philadelphia 76ers have this morning taken a comfortable 132-115 win over the Washington Wizards. Now, after a close first quarter, the 76ers exploded in the second quarter and never looked back. The Sixers scored 72 points in the second and third quarters combined, en route to beat a beatdown of the injury-riddled Wizards. Landry Shamet stole the show with a career-high 29 points, 27 of which before the final quarter. Shamet was one of 3 pointers shy of tying the franchise record for triples in a game. Now, after missing the past 2 contests, Jimmy Butler had a strong showing with 20 points. Butler combined his efficient scoring with excellent defense. Elsewhere, Joel Embiid had an effortless 20 and 10, and Ben Simmons dropped 17 points while playing stout defense.
Beal. That's going to make it tougher for him. Look at Jimmy. Did he come up with a steal? He did. And he'll solo. Well done by Butler. Boy, the Sixers a lot better defensively than they were in the opening minutes of this game, and now they have a lead for the first time. Signed a 1-year free agent deal to play with a 6 different NBA team in the last 5 years.
He's a journeyman, but I recall games where he was with the Cavaliers as JoJo makes another bucket.
By the way, great footwork from him. I mean, that was a 360 he did in the lane.
Nice little spin to evade the defender. How much ground he covers, too.
Sixers now 18-3 at Wells Fargo Center.
Jimmy wants to play the right way. And, there are times because he can be that dominant, he wants the ball a lot. And at times he should get it a lot. But I believe his evolution as he understands his skill package and the way teams respond to him and double team him and all that is evolving before all of our eyes. Like, he gets the ball, there's a level of patience, he reads the floor, he passes out of it when he should. And I thought tonight was excellent in regards to him feeling the gym, passing out of the gym, and not really forcing that much.
Right now, world number 1 Simona Halep's first match in more than 3 months ended in defeat by Australia's Ashley Barty at the Sydney International. The Romanian, who cut short her 2018 season with a back injury, was beaten 6-4, 6-4 by the world number 15 in the second round after a first round bye. Now, French Open champion Halep, who was runner-up at last year's Australian Open, has started 2019 without a coach. She says there are lots of positives to carry away from her loss into the first Grand Slam of the year that starts in Melbourne on Monday.
Pick up from Barty. That is inch perfect. Wonderful point construction from Barty, looking so clearly out there. Teasing and tormenting Halep.
It was a great match after almost 4 months since I played one full match, US Open. I think I played a good level of tennis. I had no inspiration in some important points. She played really well. Her slice was great today. So, yeah, she deserved to win this match, but also I was very close to win. I had so many chances to break her and to take advantage, but I couldn't.
Now, staying with the tennis theme, Bernard Tomic claimed match points against fellow Australian Nick Kyrgios when he dished up a bizarre trick serve at the Koyong Classic exhibition event. Both players will compete in the Australian Open next week, but I tell you what, none will attempt the match-winning serve that Tomic fashioned. Take a look at it.
Commentary box.
Well, that was it, the sneaky serve.
Well, there you go. I reckon that sums up Bernard Tomic and Nick Kyrgios. Right there, in 1 point. Straight sets.
Match point, Bernard Tomic. That's pretty.
What a serve. Now it appears to be a good time to be an Egyptian. Barely hours after the Confederation of African Football announced that Egypt will host the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations, the Pharaoh's prized asset Mohamed Salah has been announced as the men's player of the year, best men's player of the year award. Elsewhere, Mauritania beat Uganda to the